All right, this lesson is about comparing fractions, decimals, and percents. The first thing I want you to look at is there's an example up here on the board right now. The 9/100ths, the fraction on the left. Okay, notice the terminology I'm using right there. 9 being the numerator, the 100 being the denominator. 9/100ths. Okay, why am I saying that and just giving you that interpretation at the beginning? Because when you look at the fraction, then go and compare it to the decimal next door, how do you say that decimal? You're tempted probably to say 0.09, which is the digital world. It's how we say things now. But if you actually use the place value, okay, this first place value is the tens position right there. This position is the hundredths position. So when you're trying to write a decimal from a fraction, base tens and hundreds, okay, we can interpret it exactly as what's there. So in this case, 0.09 is actually 9, and since the 9, the last place value is in the hundreds position, we just say 9/100ths. Okay. Another example could be a fraction of 42 over 100, which that's 42 hundredths. So the decimal will be 42 hundredths. Notice I say hundredths because you go to whatever place value is most farthest, or whatever one's farthest to the right. 42 hundredths is there, which is a decimal, which was the previous video we did. Going from a decimal to a percent, D to P, move the two decimal places to the right, okay, 42%, okay. To give you an idea where this kind of comes from, how these are interrelated, when you look at the fraction 42/100, a percent, the last part of it, cent, is cent, which is 100. Okay, a century is 100 years. Okay, so a percent is out of 100. So our numerator 42, okay, is your percent part of it, the part of your whole 100. Okay, so that's where percent and fractions are actually related that far. Okay, and then you can see that the decimal and the fractions are related. All right, that's enough talking on there. Let's see how it's kind of going to be applied. Well, in this lesson, we can talk about examples like which one is greater, 3/20ths or 16%. They are not the same format, but we can alter them a little bit to get them in the same format, and this is kind of a preference. Okay, just some things you need to consider. If you have a fraction, one of the most important things is to get either like a common denominator, and there are some situations where you get a common numerator and so on like that. But if you're trying to compare them, the easiest thing to do is to get a common denominator. All right, so that's for fractions. And if you're getting a decimal, just convert them all to decimals and then compare from that point, and the same thing with percents. So if I see 3/20ths or 16%, my personal preference is to get that fraction out of 100 because a percent is out of 100, and then convert it to a percent. Okay, so I have 3/20ths. I'm going to convert that to 100 on the denominator. I can do that by multiplying the bottom by 5, which means I need to multiply the top also by 5. 3 times 5 is 15, so I have 15/100ths. Okay, well 15/100ths is also the same as 0.15, which is also 15%. Okay, so when you compare 15% or 16%, which one's greater? 16%, obviously, in that situation, a little bit bigger. Okay, you might have gone a different route. Maybe you took that 16% and went right to a decimal 0.16, or maybe you went made it a fraction, 16/100ths. Okay, you might have tried to went the other direction and say, okay, I'm going to change this 16/100ths and get a common denominator of 20 because this one over here has a denominator of 20. So if you take 100 and divide it by 5, you can do this one. Well, 16 divided by 5 is not clean, but it's approximately 3 1/5. Well, you're not really supposed to have fractions in a fraction, but you can see from this what's bigger, 3/20ths or 3 1/5 over 20. Well, got your common denominator, which one's bigger? So you can kind of see how that works out there. Letter B, which is greater, 79% or 0.08? So personal preference is for me, let's just change this decimal to a percent, and that becomes 8%. So what's bigger, 79% or 8%? Well, 79% is bigger. another one here. I'll give you guys a chance to kind of look through it. Which one's greater? Go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and pause it. I'll let you do it, and then I'll do it right afterwards. All right. So here's how I would end up interpreting this one. Which is greater, 25% or 7/25? I'm going to go and take that 25% and make it 25 out of 100. And then I'm going to take this 7 over 25, and I'm going to change this denominator to 100. Okay? This one's 28 hundredths. That one's 25 100ths. Therefore, 7/25 is bigger. Over on this one, 0.49, I'm going to change this decimal and move it to a percent, 49%. Okay? And compare it to 94%. Well, which one's bigger? 94%. Next one, word problem. You, your sister, and a friend each take the same number of shots at a soccer goal. You make 72% of your shots, your sister makes 19/25 of her shots, and your friend makes 0.67 of his shots. Who made the fewest shots? Okay, well, we're asking who's, the key word here is fewest, we want the smallest one, but we are comparing three different formats of numbers. So we just got to find a format we like and stick to it and convert them all to that format. So we're converting 72%, 19/25, and 0.67. Okay? In this situation, I'm going to convert all of these to percents. My preference is I like percents and I like decimals. Fractions aren't bad, but I just know that getting common denominators can be troublesome for some people. So I like decimals and percents. So we're going to go to percents to all of these. So this one's already done. The first one's 72%. Let's convert 19/25 to a percent by getting it out of 100. Okay, so 25 to 100, that's multiplying by 4. So 19 times 4. Do a little math on the side. 19 times 4 is going to give you 9 times 4 is 36. And it gives you 76 there. So this is going to be 76 hundredths there. 0.67 to a 0.67 is actually going to be a percent of 67%. I didn't finish this last one. This one's 76%. So we asked who made the fewest shots. Well, the fewest shots would be the lowest percent, which would be 0.67. So who is that? That is your friend. Okay, your friend made the fewest amount of shots. Last one. This map shows portions of the U.S. population that live in 5 states. List the 5 states in order from least to greatest. So we have these different formats. We have 1/50th for Washington. Put Washington there. We got Michigan at 0.03. We got New York at 6%. We got Ohio at 1/25. And we got California at 0.12. The strategy is the same as the other one. Just need to get them all similar format. I'm going percents. I'll go decimals on all these. Okay. So 1/50th. Okay. Well, I want to show you another way you possibly do it. Yes, you can take this 1/50th and you can convert it to get a denominator of 100. So 50 to 100 multiplied by 2. So 1 times 2 is 2 hundredths, which would be 0.02. Okay. That is definitely one route to go. But you don't always have to do that. If you look at 1/50th, okay, this is actually also a division problem. The top, you read the top to the bottom. 1 divided by 50. Well, if you divide by 50, okay, put your 1 there, put your decimal in place value, go from there and above it. Okay, add your zeros. And you can actually do it by division. This is a division problem technically. Okay, can 50 go into 1? No, 0. Can 50 go into 10? No, that's a 0. Can 50 go into 100? Yes. The answer is 2. 2 times 50 is 100. The remainder is 0. Therefore, I'm done. So notice my decimal matched up to what I just got over on the other side. Okay. So 1/50th is 0.02. This is 0.03. That's already done. 6% reverse butt rule. 0.06. 1/25. 1/25. Let's go the other route. This is 4 100ths by multiplying top and bottom by 4. So that's 0.04. And then 12.12 is already as a decimal. So when you compare these, The easiest way to compare is you have them all in order. So look in the ones place. Notice that all of these don't have anything there where I'm making these little boxes. Therefore, they're all the same. They're zeros. Okay, now we're decimal points, all lined up, all the same. The next place value, 0, 0, 0, 0, let's say 0, 0, 0, 0, and 1. So which one's the greatest right there? Well, the greatest one we can say off the bat is 1. The rest are lower. So California, since the question is asking from least to greatest, the greatest one is California. Put that over here as the greatest one. That one's taken care of. California's done. Now let's compare the rest. So we're on the ones. Now we go to the tens place. We have a 2, a 3, a 6, and a 4. Which one of those is the lowest? Well, that's Washington. So Washington is going to be the lowest. Then our next lowest would be Michigan, because it's 3. Then we have next would be Ohio. And the fourth one would be New York. Okay. So in order from least to greatest, Washington, Michigan, Ohio, New York, California, all by getting them all in the same format. All right, hopefully that helped. Here's a few questions you can try by yourself if you'd like to practice before you start the work yourself. So go ahead and give these a try, and I'll pause it. Okay, I'll pause it afterwards. Or I'll pause it. You'll go ahead and pause it now, and I'll give you the answers in a second. All right, here are your answers.